Yeah, don't it sound so epic? Horns are screaming, I ain't the one you wanna mess with. Use a joke, I ain't the one you wanna jest with. The cavalry bout to lock and load the weapons. Riot, riot, we came to riot. Revolution is coming, this the hour. Riot, riot, we came to riot. You hear the crowd, we coming for what's ours. Riot, riot, we came to riot.
What a way to start the conference season. Number 2, Grace and Marian, two teams that have become perennial NAIA tournament teams. And as you can see, they have not had a loss so far in the non-conference slate. Alongside Bill Fenlon, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thanks for joining us for Marian University basketball on the ISC Sports Network. 2 years ago, Grace won the Crossroads League tournament on this very floor. We kind of previewed them during halftime of the women's game. Scott Moore's team is awfully good, and they bring back everybody but one player from last year's national quarterfinalist.
Well, something's got to give, right? 11 games played between these two teams and no losses, so something's got to give here today. And even though on paper you might see Grace as the favorite today, they are on the road and it's college basketball, Greg, so anything can happen.
It's a Marian team that knew it would look a lot different from what they did a year ago. A 5-man senior class that accomplished a great deal to parts. Several new players brought in. You'll see one of those in the starting lineup in Gus Etchison. But it's a young man that you know well because of where he is from that has elevated his game from his sophomore to his junior season. Brody Whitaker's been fantastic through these first 5 games of the Knights.
I thought Brody had a really good sophomore year as a kind of a contributing guy, and watching their opener, getting a chance to see them in person, he looked like a guy that could become a go-to guy for them, and so far that's turned out to be true. He's averaging 24 points a game on the season.
Gus Etchison is a Division I transfer, one of several for Scott Hetty's team, played at Hamilton Heights. Of course, played at Western Michigan for a couple of years. Now comes to this level. Again, he'll provide instant offense for Marian as well. A player to point out for Grace is Elijah Malone because there are not many big kids of his athleticism that play in this level. 6'9", averaging a double-double. Frankly, I think he's got a chance to play professionally a couple of years from now at maybe overseas, maybe here in this country. Elijah Malone can really play.
Oh, he'll make some money playing basketball at some point in time because he is a talented size guy, and those guys don't grow on trees.
So Mark Cardosi going through the pregame preamble. Again, the Marian women won the first half of the doubleheader to kick off the league season. Because we have the anthem for the women's game, we'll go straight to the lineups for this contest. And with that, let's kick it to Mark Cardosi as he introduces you to the Grace College Lancers.
At forward, number 5, Cade Gibbs. At guard, number 10, Jacob Gibbs. At forward, number 20, Jake Wadding. At guard, number 22, Bryson Graber. At center, number 50, Elijah Malone. The Lancers head coach in his 3rd season, Scott Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, starting lineups for the Grace College Lancers.
That is an all-Indiana starting 5 for Grace. The Gibbs brothers, they're not twins, they're actually triplets. 2 of them play basketball, one that is not there from Plainfield. Bryson Graber, the state's all-time leader in assists at Bar Reeve High School. Jake Wadding of Chesterton, and the aforementioned Elijah Malone from Prairie Heights, a group that has a lot of experience playing together under head coach Scott Moore. Now let's tell you about the Knights for Scott Hetty. This year's Marian University team, again, they have won all 5. They have scored 90 or more points in every game. Again, here's Mark Cardosi.
Marian University Knight. At forward, a 6'3" redshirt sophomore from Johnstown, Ohio, number 44, Gavin Foe. At center, a 6'11" redshirt junior from Batavia, Ohio, number 14, Jackson Ames. At guard, a 5'11" junior from Cicero, Indiana, number 0, Gus Etchison. At guard, a 6'3" junior from Greencastle, Indiana, number 12, Brody Whitaker. Rounding out your night starting lineup is a 6'1" senior guard out of New Palestine, Indiana, number 11, Maximus Gizzi. Your Knights head coach in his 7th season, Scott Petty. Ladies and gentlemen, starting lineup for your Marian University Knights.
So the Marian 5 introduced by Mark Cardosi, and it's kind of unique about this Marian team. They've got a couple of sizable bigs in terms of Ames and Foster, both 6'10 or taller. However, they kind of lack that 4 guy. It seemingly is a center and 4 guards on the floor. Kind of an interesting roster construction for Coach Hetty this year.
Well, that's a position that Luke Goman played for them last year, and when I saw them play earlier in the season, that was one of the things I thought they were missing, was that kind of point forward-ish kind of guy who could rebound it, guard a bunch of different positions. The thing that's interesting for me, you know, all of a sudden we're in conference play, but you got a team that's averaging 98 and a team that's averaging 93. You got to figure they can ring the bell out here today.
And to Grace's credit, what do? Start posting guards immediately. Again, it's an undersized Marian team this year. It is a Marian team that has, frankly, hung their hat more on defense than anything else. They may have to be a bit more of an offensive-driven team this year because of kind of the pieces that they've got. Here is Malone. And again, Marian's got a little more size than most to guard him. It's at the other positions that's a problem. Hence, Gibbs goes right at Gizzy and scores over him. So Jacob wears number 10. Cade wears number 5. The juniors from Plainfield. Their dad, Daryl, a longtime girls basketball coach in the area. Whitaker able to avoid the turnover. There is such a wealth of offensive talent, frankly, going both directions, as Etchison nicks the backboard on that one. You see Graber on the pass. He rarely looks for his own shot. When he's that open, he'll take it. Misses that one. But he's a guy that when he was playing for Josh Thompson at Bar Eve could score in bunches. But he really defers to his teammates here for the Lancers.
Well, those are the adjustments that you make when you go to college, right? Very often the role that you're playing on your high school team is going to be very different than the one you'll play on your college team, and you've got to be able to make those adjustments.
Here's Whitaker trying to create some space and scores.
He's really got the ability to kind of get into you, create a little space, and then he is becoming a really, really good shot maker when he does have the space.
And clearly, Grace likes their mismatch in terms of Gizzy. Malone, the big fella, you'll give him that one. Even if he makes it, you'll give him that shot from 21 feet.
That's where you'd like to see him if you're Marian.
Gizzy will pull and score. And again, Gizzy expected to kind of be the backup point guard this year. Well, Joe Rush unable to play until at least mid-December for the Knights. So Gizzy takes more of a role. Etchison knocked that one free. It'll remain Grace basketball.
Well, Etchison is such a good scorer. You'd like to have him play off the ball a little bit more, so you have to have somebody out there.
Malone
who can
gets
be that
downhill.
lead guard.
Again, good luck stopping that. 6'10", averaging 18 points, 9 rebounds a game, shooting 71% from three-point range. Ball poked away by Gibbs. Good hustle by Etchison. I think they're going to get Etchison. No, they're going to get Gibbs. They've got Gibbs on the foul. Gibbs thought with the point it's going to go the other direction, but it's deemed that Gibbs given to the infraction.
He's shocked.
Well, the next guy that thinks he commits a foul will be the first.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
But even more surprised than usual. Whitaker for 3. Good hustle by Foe to take it away, but it's up to the baseline. It'll be Grace basketball. Marian last played on Wednesday. A victory against Governor State. The game played up in Chicago. First of 3 pre-January league games for the Knights. Malone tracked it down but couldn't find a teammate in the effort to save it. These two teams last played in the Crossroads League tournament. Game them in overtime. The Grace won by 6. Etchison
That's a tough one.
And Etchison is a walking bucket. You're just going to, frankly, give him a little leeway to create his own shot in the offense. A little more freelance for the Marian offense this year. Cade Gibbs the three. He's shooting 59% from the floor so far this season.
He's got a very deliberate release from distance, and clearly a confident three-point shooter.
Frankly, this game will not lack for offense. You could say that about most of the entire league because the level at which this league recruits is just so good. Gizzy, no. Graber, the rebound. Trailer three from Malone. Got it. And again, that kid's a pro. Yeah, just simply put, he is a pro at some point down the road.
At that size, the trail the break.
Yep.
His guy's got to get back and protect the basket. He's going to have plenty of looks. If he can drain like that, it's going to be tough to deal with in transition.
Solid screen. Whitaker pulls, yes. Whitaker's game reminds me so much of Christian Stewart that played here a couple of years ago. Former Ron Colley, then Rebel, when he played for Mike Wantz on the South Side. And Christian had a wonderful career here. And again, Gibbs with a mismatch. Marion cutting onto the rebound. It'll stay here. But the Gibbs brothers go 6'6" and 6'5". And again, that player just isn't on this Marion roster to guard them defensively.
Right. It's a tough matchup, and you mentioned it already. They're trying to post those guys up against the smaller Marion perimeter guys.
Well, Ames will head out. Foster will come in.
There it is again.
Yep.
And you just cannot start behind right there if you're trying to defend in the post. And the problem for the perimeter guys is they don't do it very often, and they got to figure it out on the fly.
Mismatch here. Etchison trying to attack. Whitaker again, no. And that'll be a reach-in foul on Foe. Foe thought he got him clean. Official said otherwise. And that will lead us to our first media timeout. So 14:56 left to go in the opening half. Grace 12, Marion 8. It's the Crossroads League season opener. We're back after this on ISC.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Lock in your rate with pre-approval. It's fast, free, and makes buying the car of your dreams easier. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point, her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 3.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
It's our first of many doubleheaders this year on the ISC Sports Network featuring the Marian University Knights. We'll have the Knights, each both men and women, one more time in non-conference play in December. And we'll get to January, and we'll be here on a regular basis. We have been so fortunate to be here for so many conference tournament matchups over the course of the last really 2 and 3 seasons here at Marion. Last year for the men, I think we got one home game, and that was it because, frankly, Grace and Indiana Wesleyan were so good, and that is expected to be the case again this year. Grace checks in, as you see on your screen, as the number 2 team in the country. And that might be one spot too low. They are trailing the College of Idaho, by the way, in the opening poll of the season. Left alone for 3. Shot does not go. Shot taken and missed by Graber, and he can knock that down. Gizzy on the attack.
He can, but Marion didn't play him like he could.
Etchison, no. Foe flies in. Shot clock at a dozen. Marion a pair of substitutions. Awaiting to check in when given the opportunity. Etchison, no. He will be a volume shooter for this Marion team. Whitaker switches over on Gibbs. Now that he vacates the post, here comes Malone. If he made one from three, you could think he's going to make that one. It does not go.
Again, I think that's the shot Marian would like to see him take, the little fadeaway with a hand in his face in the post. It's not three, and it's not an easy two.
Gizzy from 19, no. Wadding the rebound. Both teams a pair of subs awaiting. Gibbs in the corner. Left that one short, but a foul is going to be called on Foster. And going for the loose ball for Marian. So neither team has scored coming out of the media timeout. So Bryan in for Marian. He's kind of playing back his way from injury. Former Delta Eagle. Spent time at both the University of Indianapolis and at Ball State. For Grace, Ian Scott will come on. And this is Carter Stoltzfus. There's Scott, got it. And there is a sizable contingent of Grace fans here, which is understandable given how many Indiana kids they have on the roster. They have 3 Plainfield players on the roster, so a good chunk of Southern Hendricks County is here to watch the game tonight. And that'll be a blocking foul against Gibbs. For Marian, Ben Henderson also has checked in. Played for Mark Reinhardt at Harrison High School in Lafayette. And now Gage Sefton, freshman from Blackhawk Christian, last year's 2A state champs, will check in.
Both teams rolling a lot of guys in and out.
Yep. And that's going to be a hand check on Gibbs. So already Jacob Gibbs has 2. Cade Gibbs picks up the foul there.
Well, Cade was actually in pretty good shape defensively, but reached out with both hands, and anytime you do that, you're gonna get the call.
Whitaker for 3, a little strong. Good crash by Bryant. And Henderson comes out of there with it. No. Foster goes down in a heat. Luckily, he gets back up for Marian, but they play a man down. But Gibbs throws to the open fan in row number 3.
He got it. He caught it.
Still not a legal play. Grace has won the last 4 times these teams have got together. And that includes 3 meetings last year and the aforementioned conference championship game here 2 years ago. Etchison, yes.
That's tough. He shot that right into a hand.
I think he is unfazed by the situations around him. In gym, shoot ball.
Yeah, I don't think he's pretty much in range when he walks in the door. You're right about that.
Stoltzfus for 3. Gibbs the extra possession. Malone's already tried 2, made 1. Stoltzfus from Northridge High School. Scott reverse layup, no, but that's an automatic 2 for Malone at that spot. And rebounds are going to be a problem for this Marian team at times this year, as Etchison fires and misfires.
Not putting a lot of pressure on the defense when you go ahead and shoot it, take a shot like that on the first side of the floor.
Gibbs is fouled, wave off the putback. He's fouled on the floor. And rebounds right now, Bill, are 13-6 in favor of Grace.
Well, they're crashing. They got a bunch of active offensive rebounders. So they're crashing on that end, and it's been one and done on the other end.
How good is this Grace team? Well, they just brought in Ian Rosh, freshman from Northwood, part of their 3A state title team. He's an Indiana All-Star. He's the 4th kid off your bench. That's how good this Grace team is.
That's a pretty good depth chart they've got working over there.
His teammate at Northwood and Cade Brunner, now playing at Huntington University as well. from the unquestionably best team outside of 4A last year. Wadding down low. Wadding, one of those guys that seemingly has played at Grace for about a decade. Young man out of Chesterton High School. He is a senior. Does all the little things. 10 points a game.
Another guard post up for a score right there.
This is a game plan that Denny Crum would love. Bryan fires the three. That does not go in, and there's Wadding. 7 boards a game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Draw the double team. Wadding goes opposite, draws the foul. And Scott Heddy is about as basic principled defensively as you can get. Man-to-man and lock him down. Is a zone an option for this group?
I think it could be. Not if you don't have one, though. So we'll have to wait and see. They really did a good job guarding that post up. It was the second guy in who really fouled unnecessarily. He just kind of grabbed him. They had him off balance. And, you know, your defensive decision-making sometimes is every bit as important as your offensive decision-making.
Wadding 10 of 14 from the line this season. Misses the first one. As a team, Grace 76% from the line. Makes 1 of 2. So the largest lead of the game for the Lancers grows to 9. Bryan for 3. Not that time. Not exactly Normandale 4 passes right now for Marian. Everything inside out for Grace. Wadding, left hand, no. Good look that wouldn't fall. Dylan Moles, the freshman from Greenfield, has checked in for Marian. And he too says, all right, everybody else letting it fire after 1 touch, I will too.
0 for 7 right now for the Knights from 3.
I think
it's a tough way to start.
Marian 5-0, 90-plus points in all games so far as Ian Scott, almost with the set shot Buford effort from 3, gets it to go. And a timeout called by Marian. But let's be blunt, this is a team at an entirely different level than anybody that Marian has played so far this year. It is a 30 that translates into a full, and we will take it with them. 22-10, Grace in control early. We're back in a moment on the ISC Sports Network.
Does your school offer high-quality education? Does it offer virtual or hybrid options? Marian University Preparatory School educates students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep your school for 2022.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
So 22-10, Grace has raced out to a quick 12-point lead. Lancers 9 of 20 from the floor. Marian 5 of 18. Marian 0 of 8 from three-point range to start this game. What's the answer for Coach Heddy's bunch?
Well, I think offensively, Marian has got to understand the difference between transition and half-court offense. If you shoot the ball in between those two things, typically those are not your high-percentage shots. So I think they've settled a little bit without really moving the defense a little bit and putting the defense in a little more of a bind, giving themselves some space and some driving opportunities. They haven't played with the kind of purpose you need to play to beat a team like this today. Not yet, at least.
Shot clock at 11. And that'll be tipped out of bounds by Sefton. Has to be quick for Marian. And that'll be a moving screen. Ames, you get away with 1 contact, not 2. So a Marian turnover.
That's that screen you were talking about earlier today, the one that's right out there in front of
That's right.
everybody. You better get set.
First Marian turnover, just 2 so far by Grace. Whitaker getting a brief rest, but he'll check back in next dead ball for the Knights. Malone gets a break. Scott, bowling a China shot. Plows over Foe. Turnover 3 by Grace, and a foul against Ian Scott.
Good help right there. In a great position, takes it right on the chest.
Scott, 10 points, 7 rebounds a game, 70% field goal shooter. Is the former Plainfield Quaker. As part of their first 4A sectional title 3 years ago, Whitaker got fouled, wave off the dunk. Whitaker got clobbered into, and Brody will shoot 2 free throws.
Very good take by him. He had a good opportunity and a closeout, and took advantage of it. And he's a guy who can be physical on the drive and get to the free throw line. And when he does, he's going to make.
Cashes in from the line. Brett Sikafus will check in for the first time. This Grace team has been so far in front of their opponents, and frankly is so balanced that no player, and again, it'll change when you get to conference play, but no player has averaged more than 22 minutes a game so far this year for Grace.
Well, that means everyone is getting rest and everyone is getting experience. And you never know when you're going to need guys to expand their role, change their role a little bit. And they've had a lot of guys who've played a lot of minutes already in this young season.
Malone and Dylan Moles going to be a foul. Got some ball, but got some arm. That should be 1 plus the bonus, and it will be. And here is one of the best skill sets as a big that Malone has. He is 33 of 36 from the free throw line this year.
No chink in that armor.
Connects in Prairie Heights High School, LaGrange, Indiana. Left that one short.
It's a good day at the Morehouse when that guy says he's coming. You know what I mean?
Tips that ball away. Now Malone wants to go to work. Draws the double for an open 3. Just didn't go. Good basketball as Sefton, who is 7 of 10 from three-point range to start the season, misses that one. Gizzy, good look that wouldn't go, and blocking foul called against Sikafus. 16 foul, no free throws on that.
Great job by Foe to track that second shot, or that second opportunity down for the Knights. They the way they're shooting it, there's some offensive rebounds available, but they got to have guys really crashing.
And that's going to be a foul on bumping the cutter by the Grace defender. And that is Carter Stoltzfus. And that may not sound like a common name. It is in that part of the state. Spring Arbor is number 2 in women's soccer in the NAIA ranks. They've got a Stoltzfus that plays for them. Carter played for Scott Radiker at Northridge High School. Bethany Christian made the girls' state finals last year, and they had a Stoltzfus on their team as well. Missed free throw by Whitaker, wadding the rebound for Grace.
You're not going to see Brody miss too many of those.
Malone,
whoa,
good night. Elijah Malone, his second made 3. He's got 11. Etchison back in, and he has been eager to shoot. That time probably was too eager to pass. Graber will come back in as Stoltzfus will have a seat.
Revolving door for Grace. They just keep rolling guys in and out.
If you made the trip, you make the team. Marian, 5 of 18 from the floor. Another foul, yep. Leaned into him, yep, no doubt. You can't lean into the man after giving that pass, and frankly, those dribble handoffs are regulated a lot tighter than they used to be. That's an easy call.
It was an easy call, and they got him the same way. That's the second time.
Marian has not made a bucket the last 5 minutes and change. Foster in there defensively for Marian. Wadding turns. A little too strong, but goes and gets it. Foster gets it a second time around. Etchison. Gus Etchison now his third bucket. He's got 6 points.
Good take. He just kind of explored in transition right there, had a little space, and got it to the rim.
Slip to Malone. Sikafus for 3, yes. Brett Sikafus, a 40% three-point shooter. Grace's a team, makes 8.5 threes a game, 39% from distance, and their lead is 15.
Well, where Malone is getting them is on the boards from the three-point line, and as a facilitator, he hasn't even really beat him up around the basket yet.
Foe, no. Wadding, Gibbs. Gibbs, no. Follow up by Wadding. He did not touch the rim. He just tipped it in. That was a legal play. Nothing wrong with that. Looked bad, but no problem there. Wadding gets the bucket.
Great hustle by Wadding to follow that up right there.
Which is what he does. That's his role. He is the loose change guy for Grace. Everybody on this Grace team knows this is what I do. Wadding tried to dive across the screen and made contact, and we'll see free throws coming up. 1 plus the bonus for Brody Whitaker. Taking another look here and again, you'll see rim contact. That was because the Marian player grabbed the net. That was not on Wadding. Great job by Eldon Wheeler to catch that for you on our camera crew today. Thanks to he, Rob Lynch, Dennis Glover. Thanks to the rest of our ISC Sports Network crew as well. Vince Morales, Kyle Donlin. So Whitaker connects from the line.
Got him off the schneid a little bit.
Whitaker 75% from the stripe so far this year, but missed that one.
Walked away from that one. You could tell he was leaning backwards as he delivered that free throw.
Knights 0 of 9 from 3. 6 of 20 in total. 4 out, 1 in. And Malone got fouled by Foster. On Foster, that is his first.
Well, the ball moved from one side of the floor to the other. Foster didn't move at all, and then he ends up buried deep with his head under the basket. And once that catch is made, there's not going to be a whole lot you can do with this guy.
Foster, his third year in the Marian program. Spent some time at Ohio University at the Division I level. Malone now 2 of 3 from the stripe in this one. And make it 3 of 4. At this level, how do you guard that kid?
Well, you got to do, we call it DWE, do your work early, right? And you can't wait until he catches the ball down there to try to defend him. You got to try to do everything you can do to keep it out of there, and you got to have ball pressure on the passers.
Etchison fouled, no offensive foul, so he led with the off arm. Etchison created space and got whistled for the foul. Third Marian turnover. This one's been double digits for some time. And frankly, I think Grace can do this to a lot of folks this year. Great feed. Put it exactly where it needed to be to turn Gibbs to the bucket.
It's a really good game plan by Grace. I mean, they're posting multiple guys up around the bucket, and it's typically not the big guy.
Whitaker. That's as tough a shot as you get. You just tip your cap if you're a Grace player and the one that he just hit. Nothing coming easy for Marian. Pick and pop. Good luck with that. Like a second time I've said that about one of his baskets today. He's got 16. What a player he has turned into at Grace College.
You're just not going to be able to guard the ball screen like that. They're going to have to switch it. They just can't leave him alone as they're trying to get over the top of the ball screen.
Graber weaves through traffic, looks to pad his assist total, and does so successfully. Timeout, Marian. It is a 23-point lead for Grace. Again, they are ranked number 2 in the country. They might be off by 1 spot. They have looked the part today. So the bucket by Cade Gibbs, and we send ourselves to a full timeout. All Lancers in Indianapolis. Back in a moment on ISC.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you. Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Well, timeout rules are a little bit different this year in the Crossroads League. They have very much adopted kind of the Division I, Division II model. We have 3 media timeouts per half, and the teams are reduced to 4 timeouts per game. 3 full or 3 30s and 1 full. Well, Scott Heddy's already burned 2 of his 4 timeouts for this game because you're trying to figure out a way to slow the roll from Grace, because you knew they'd be really good coming into the season, and they have looked the part today. They lead by 23 on the road in their league opener.
There was a game last week where the head coach at DePaul took all 4 timeouts in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Bryant for 3, not that time. And Marian, who had scored 90-plus points in their first 5 games, nothing falling. Really all over the floor, but especially from 3-point range. Great spacing. Graber for 3, no. And he played around some fantastic talent at Bar Reeve, did Bryson. Etchison, good leave, good take. Foster scores. Doesn't look for his offense very often, does Foster, but he'll cash it at the rim on the dime from Etchison. His first assist of the game. In fact, for Marian, that is their first assist of the game. Sikafus from Whitco High School. 7 points a contest.
A nice one under the ball screen right there and just allowed him to rock into that 17-footer.
Whitaker finds a sliver of space. Malone got some ball, but either got Whitaker upside the melon or got him on the arm. Either way, 2 free throws coming up from Marian.
I think he did hit the ball, but then kind of followed through onto his arm. Right there. You know, Grace is so interchangeable. They're able to switch a bunch of the things that are going on offensively. Even with Malone, they're able to switch because he does such a good job of moving his feet, which makes them a very formidable defensive team.
Today's game presented in part by AAA Roofing. When it rains, it pours, so trust the pros at AAA Roofing. That's who we call. Special thanks to AAA Roofing for their support of Marian University athletics. Whitaker, all-time leading scorer in the history of Greencastle High School, knocks it down. Had to play his games at the palatial McAnally Center in Greencastle.
Good gym.
There's a handful of Indiana gymnasiums that you go, I can't believe these are high school gyms. That's one of them. Looks like an arena.
And it's a high school with about 600 kids
right.
in it, too.
Malone, but it was touched last by Marian. Brody was also a fantastic baseball player at Greencastle High School.
That I don't think I knew.
Focusing on basketball here. Malone does just enough to get out of the lane. Deep three, Graber, not that time. Good hustle by Gizzy, and Grace gives a foul. And Gizzy will go to the free throw line. So Max Gizzy started all 6 games so far for the Knights. Surprisingly for Max, he is just 5 of 12 from the free throw line this season. No problem there. Both Max's mom and dad play collegiately at LaSalle. Max's mom, the longtime girls coach at New Pal.
I think a bunch of Max's misses came in that very first game that I did here.
IU Southeast.
I think he missed 4 that game.
He's only missed 3 more the rest of the year.
Yeah,
then.
very uncharacteristic.
Especially for a coach's kid. Malone, the step back. Off the hands of Whitaker.
Malone's getting away with a little moving on that high ball screen as well. The difference with what he's doing is he's acting like he's rolling rather than just continuing to try to hang up the defender.
Shot clock reset when it shouldn't have. Or put it at 20. As we approach the final minute of an opening half dominated by Grace, and that doesn't hurt. Stoltzfus for 3. Stoltzfus, not much of a score, a couple points, a couple of rebounds a game, got that to go. And the lead now expands to 22. Grace, their 7th made 3. They've attempted 18. Whitaker got that.
That's his game right there. Physical on the drive, gets you a little bit off balance, pops back, creates some space, and is able to really knock down those mid-range jumpers at a pretty high clip.
Whitaker, 13 of the Marian 25, but he's kind of lacking a consistent second score to go with him. Shot clock is turned off. Grace will hold for a final look. Graber fires away, not there. Malone tracks it down, finds Scott. Scott's fouled. 2 free throws coming up.
Great find by Malone right there. He looked like he was about to tiptoe out of bounds.
Grace
was able to slip it into Scott.
Grace is out rebounding Marian 27 to 12.
That is not a good formula for success right there.
There are some things in a basketball box score you can overcome. That is not one of them. As Scott misses from the line, he's now 10 of 17 from the stripe this year. Rosh will come back on, as will Gage Sefton. That's 2 young men that won state championships this past year that just entered the fray. Scott connects there. And now Wadding will come back on to replace him.
There's no substitute for recruiting winners. Guys that know how to win, expect to win, can really come in and immediately be part of a winning culture.
Gizzy didn't get it off in time. Did not get it off in time. Well, everything has been on time for Grace. The train is moving for the Lancers. 46 to 25. They're in control of this conference opener on the road in Marion. Back with their halftime show next as you're watching Marian University men's basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
This is the Pepsi for America's best barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
At halftime, it is all Grace College. They lead 46-25 here on the ISC Sports Network. Today's game presented in part by our friends at Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, a proud partner of the Marian University Knights. Bill Fenlon will rejoin me in a matter of moments, but oftentimes coming out of these halftime breaks, I'll say I'm joined by Pete Smith. And we are here today because he is checking out today's game, because Pete is friends with, well, every basketball coach at every level in the state of Indiana. Good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Hi, Greg. Nice job last night. You had a heck of a barn burner in football.
They keep giving me good scripts to work with, and we do our best to knock them out of the park. Not so much in this game in terms of a competitive standpoint, but, man, it's Grace fun to watch.
Grace, boy, they can beat you in so many ways, and they're defensively so good. They're long. They stop dribble penetration really well, and then you end up taking a contested shot. Thank goodness Whitaker's made a few of those, because those were tough shots he's made in the first half.
And again, you played in this league. You've had several players that you have coached that have played in this league. For the amount of talent we see, we rarely see a talent in a package like Elijah Malone. Your thoughts about what that kid can do at this level of the game?
Well, you and I had him as a freshman when he went to Grace after he graduated from Prairie Heights. And you know, he's just elevated his game. He's so dangerous because if you've got a big guarding him like you've got to guard him with a big, he can stretch the defense so well by bringing the defensive player out, and they don't guard him. And he can knock down threes. It's not the prettiest shot in the world. It's not textbook, but he can make open threes, and that's just made his game so much more difficult to defend.
From one former Carmel coach to another, what's your advice for Scott Heddy for half number 2?
Well, hopefully, overall, I don't think Grace shot the ball very well. I haven't seen the stats, but they missed a lot of shots. Are they shooting over?
17 of 37 in the first half.
Less than 50%. So defensively, you're not feeling too bad at that percentage. Getting points is going to be a problem for Marian all year. Their inside game, they just don't score a lot of points in the paint. So they depend on Whitaker and Gus Etchison to score points. Gus didn't have a really good first half when it comes to shot selection, I think. Coach Heddy, I sat on the other side away from you guys so I could kind of hear what Coach Heddy was saying to him, and that was he was trying to impress on him. But scoring points is going to be a premium all year for the Knights.
Let's talk about Gus. And, again, you are friends with the Etchison family. I think most know the tragedy that Gus went through, losing his dad very unexpectedly while he was in high school. Currently back here from Western Michigan. What does that mean for him? What does that mean for the extended family?
Well, they get to see all his games. They've got 12 people here almost at every game, a good number of that. That being said, it's a transition after playing Division I for 2 years at a pretty high level against some really great players. But at that time, he's learning a new group of players to play with. And though he played with some of them during the AAU years. He's still trying to figure that out. But I know his family, and he really enjoys it at Marian University. It's been a great transition.
All right, before we let you go, I think you and I get our first game together a week from Tuesday. Addicts in North Central. We're going to see a lot of Addicts this year on ISC.
Well, is that okay? So that is our first one.
I think that's our first one. Your first one, as now, is supposed to be Westfield and Kokomo on Saturday.
Right. That's right.
But, I got this little state football final thing that gets in the way.
Yes, you do. I had that in the way for a while,
You'll have to marvel at Flory Badunga by your lonesome, at least without me. Partner, it's good to see you as always.
Hey, looking forward to doing a lot of games with you and Robin and whoever sitting next to me.
And I can't believe 5 minutes in, I'm just now noticing your purple shoes.
Well, yeah.
Those are tremendous.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sad we don't have a camera to showcase them. We'll make sure you wear those for future broadcasts. Pete Smith, Lacano, join us at halftime. Bill Fenlon rejoins for segment number 2. We'll have stats, analysis, highlights, and much, much more here on the ISC Sports Network.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Lock in your rate with pre-approval. It's fast, free, and makes buying the car of your dreams easier. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 3.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Does your school offer high-quality education? Does it offer virtual or hybrid options? Marian University Preparatory School educates students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep your school for 2022.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Our team always goes to work. That's the back half of Pete's Purple Kicks. I am told that they are the PG1s, which means that they really are best served from October the 15th through April the 15th. Greg Rakestraw, Bill Fenlon with you on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks to our friends at BSN. They are the preferred partner of apparel for Marian University Athletics. Thank you, BSN. Let's roll the highlights from half number 1. They're going to be very Grace heavy. You heard Pete's comments. Bill, your thoughts on the clinic that was put on by Grace in half number 1?
Well, I'm right there with the dean of Indiana high school coaches, Pete Smith. I mean, Grace can just get you in so many different ways. They're super long defensively. They're interchangeable, so they can switch a lot of things, and they can really take you out of what you want to do. And then they got a bunch of guys who can score the ball. They've played with great purpose offensively. The ball's changing sides of the floor. They're going inside at the matchups that they like. And they were pretty flawless that first half, I have to say.
Numbers at half 1, Grace 46% from the floor, 17 of 37, 37% from 3, 7 of 19, and 5 of 8 of the line. Marian 36% from the floor, 9 of 25. 0 of 11 from three-point range, and obviously that is a formula that is no bueno for the Knights. They were 7 of 9 from the free throw line. But again, the stat that is the most lopsided, 27-12 on the glass. And if you want to explain 46-25, second chance points, 14 nada in favor of Grace in half number 1. So if you're Scott Hetty, how do you begin to try to claw your way back into this game in half number 2?
Well, you gotta rebound it better, obviously, and you got to keep them off the offensive glass. So 11 offensive rebounds for Grace. So when they're not making buckets, they're getting second chances at buckets, and that's not good. I also think that they've just got to identify whether they're in transition or in their half-court stuff, and not take those bailout shots that are early in possessions where they haven't put any pressure on the Grace defense.
Let's give you individual numbers. Again, Elijah Malone, spectacular. 16 points for Grace, 7 for Cade Gibbs, 4 for Jacob Gibbs, 5 for Wadding, 3 for Stoltzfus, 5 for Sycophus, and 6 for Ian Scott. For Marian, 13 for Brody Whitaker, 6 for Gus Etchison, 4 for Max Gizzi, 2 for Nolan Foster. That's it. 9 played, 4 scored for Marian. Again, our score at the break, it is Grace 46, Marian 25. Knights have the ball when we come back for second half action as you're watching Crossroads League Basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you. Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
This is the Pepsi for America's best barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
I want to thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. Thank you to Eldon Wheeler, Rob Lynch, Dennis Glover. And I want to take a moment. Dennis, first time he's worked with us last couple of weeks after losing his father. Dennis, we're all thinking about you, and it's great to have you back with us today, buddy. Welcome back to your ISC crew and your ISC family here with us. I want to thank also Vince Morales as well as Kyle Donlin, making sure our signal gets to you here on this Saturday afternoon. This is the second of 3 games we'll have today for the Marian University campus. I'm not sure what Bill's soccer knowledge is. I'll invite him on to the broadcast if he'd like to join, as I get a rather intrigued look from him as I say that. The Marian women play
It's not good.
Oh, no bueno again.
So there you go. It's not good.
Well, we'll bring in Mark Newman then instead, and his hair is luxurious. We'll have Marian and Truett McConnell in the NAIA women's opening round. That's at 7 o'clock at St. Vincent Field, other side of campus. We'll have all the action for you in pay-per-view style on ISCSportsNetwork.com. In case you're just joining us, this is the second half of a doubleheader. The women's game was won by Marian. They won going away late, but, Coach, they trailed by a point early in the fourth quarter. The Marian women now 6-1, but I think Grace can have a little confidence in that women's game when they see Marian again coming up in late January.
Oh, absolutely. I think Grace gave them all they could handle. They did a good job defensively and just really had a hard time scoring the ball against a very good Marian defense. So I think there were a lot of positives that the Lancers could take from that women's game earlier today.
Today's broadcast brought to us in part by our friends at IMCU. That's Indiana Members Credit Union. Proud to support Marian University and now offers a free Marian University Knights debit card. The card is included when you open a free IMCU checking account. Get your Marian University Knights debit card today and show your support. Visit any IMCU branch or sign up online now at imcu.com. Our upcoming Marian University athletics schedule, like a tonight's soccer match. Next Saturday, it's playoff football. The Knights are the number 5 seed nationally. Their opponent is TBD for next week, but They know they'll be at home. We'll have the coverage at 1:05. There is a chance that Marian can get another home game the next week. That'll all be results-based next weekend. And after today, we've got 2 more Marian basketball games before this calendar turns to January. We'll have the Marian women as they take on the 13th-ranked University of the Cumberlands out of South Kentucky. That is Tuesday, December the 5th. Then we'll have the Marian men against the Fighting Bevo Francises of Rio Grande, the Red Storm, their actual name. That'll be December 30th, and we'll have that one for you on ISC as well. Ames, Gizzy, Foe, Whitaker, Etchison. Starting 5 for the Knights.
Pretty good little set they ran right there to try to get Whitaker a 3, but didn't handle the ball.
Great hustle by Foe to rip that away from Malone. Ames fouled. He'll shoot 2.
No need for Ames to put it on the deck right there. He just allowed the defense to give themselves a chance to contest that shot.
Ames 8 points and 5 rebounds. On the season, 12 of 17 from the free throw stripe. Connects on that one. Ames, a young man from Batavia, Ohio.
Well, if you're Marian, you got to take this first 5 minutes and put a dent in it, right? You gotta put a dent in it here early, so you feel like you're within striking distance.
Trying to whittle away at what was a 21-point lead. And it's been double digits since really about 5 minutes in. Gibbs for 3. Not that time. And that is Jacob, the lefty. Cade, the righty of the Gibbs brothers. Foe. Not that time, but Atchison, the rebound, and tried a bit of razzle-dazzle. Tried the wraparound pass back to Ames. Knocked away by Grace.
Just can't follow Malone across the lane. You got to jump to the ball. So as the ball moves, Ames has got to jump in the direction of the ball so he can beat Malone to that spot. Cannot start behind him.
Whitaker, the nudge, the step back, the bucket.
That's his thing right there. Physical drive, get a little bump on you, step back, create some space, knock in that mid-range.
Marian came in averaging 93.8 points a game. Whitaker, 24 a contest. Gibbs couldn't finish there. And you can understandably perhaps a little bit of a lull from Grace after coming out of the locker room with a 21-point cushion. Even for a team as experienced as this Grace bunch is, human nature is tough to fight. Shot clock at 9. Good closeout. Ames for 3. That is his first attempt of the season from three-point range. Etchison off the window. Make it 6 in a row for Marian to start the half.
Really good hustle by Foe that time to give them that extra opportunity. And they're doing exactly what they needed to do. They're getting some stops, getting some scores here to start the half.
Graber, good recognition. And frankly, great foul. Yeah, Whitaker goes absolutely. Take the foul, prevent the dunk.
Really, really bad communication on that ball screen. They didn't know if they were switching or hedging or what they were doing, and they left the best guy in the gym alone rolling to the basket. So that's not how they want to play it. I'm sure that's not how they talked about it at halftime.
Stoltz, Foose, and Ian Scott check in. Good crisp movement, leads to a 3. Does now go, but there's Scott. Again, that's kind of what the boards looked like in half number 1.
Well, that's what the double on the post is going to do for you. It puts you in a scramble when the ball comes out of there, and now everyone's not accounted for when the ball goes up on the rim.
Etchison fouled on the drive before the shot. Etchison now with 8 points. He's 4 of 10 from the floor, but 4 of 6 when you whittle that down to 2-point shots taken.
It's really good offense by Grace because Malone is such a willing passer.
Whitaker stuck that leg out Reggie Miller style, trying to get the contact. Official said play on. But like Reggie Miller, he knocked down the J in the process. And now an offensive foul going to be called against Gibbs. I think trying to set up the screen in the low block. And all of a sudden now a chance for Marian to get this down to a 12 or 13 point game. And this for Marian is without benefit of making a three-pointer the entire day.
They were running Gibbs off a Gibbs screen, and that brother was trying to get his brother open and moved a little bit.
Gibbs missed. Ames had it.
That's one of those shots, Greg, on the first side of the floor that is not going to work.
That's a foul on Gizzy. So Gibbs to the free throw line. Jacob will go to the line to shoot 2.
That shot on the first side of the floor also fuels the running game.
Yep.
And it's just a bad combination. You got to make a good decision right there.
So Gibbs' free throw is good. He's an 82% free throw shooter. Cade averages 16 a game. Jacob averages 12. They are scorers 2 and 3 on this Grace offense. Jacob makes them both. He's now got 6 for the day. And this has largely been the Elijah Malone show this afternoon. And that nearly was in the third moving screen against Ames. Shot missed. Ames gets the rebound. After 12 rebounds the entire first half, Ames blocked. Marian's got 6 boards in this half. But nothing to show for it that time down. Malone turns one down. Gibbs says thank you.
Very unselfish right there.
That goes a long way to make the bus ride home even better.
Yep.
A pass like that. And Marian will ask for time. And for the good things that Marian has done in this half, they are still down by 19 points. We'll take a quick timeout. 15:45 to play. Grace still maintaining control of this one on the ISC Sports Network.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
The Grace College Lancers, Winona Lake, Indiana. One of the 8 members of this league that call the state of Indiana home. Mount Vernon Nazarene of Ohio, Spring Arbor of Michigan round out this 10-team conference. Perennially one of the best in multiple sports across the NAIA landscape, and basketball obviously is amongst that group. It has become the norm to see 4 or 5 men's teams make the national tournament in the once again single division NAIA. This will be the 4th year of the one-class tournament, for lack of a better term. Etchison goes right at Malone and scores over him.
Put his body on him a little bit right there and just put him a little bit of a bind so he couldn't get a chance to block that shot. That's great offense by Etchison.
52-35. Malone all by his lonesome. Three does not go for Stoltzfus. Scott steps through, shot blocked. Whitaker got a piece, I think it's off Scott's leg. Yep, out of bounds to Marian.
Again, they started behind Malone in the post, and once he catches it, even if he's not going to score, he's just such a effective playmaker down there, passing the ball out of the post. Got to limit his touches somehow.
Etchison flies by and scores again. The whirling dervis of Etchison, 15-point game. Malone, left hand. That was with his opposite hand. Gizzy digs in for the rebound. And that'll be a foul drawn by Whitaker. Heady play by Brody. That'll lead us to another media timeout. So Marian hanging around. Still some work to do, but what was a 23-point game is now 15. 52-37 our score. 14-31 to play on ISC. Today's game on ISC presented in part by Tom O'Brien, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. If saving money is important to you, visit Tom O'Brien, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, a proud sponsor of Marian Athletics. Tom O'Brien is Indy's preferred Jeep dealer with 2 locations and the biggest Jeep inventory in Indiana. To show our support, Tom O'Brien donates $200 to Marian. For every car any student, parent, employee, or friend of Marian buys, and you mention this promo, go Knights, go to Tom O'Brien to see how our family works for you since 1933. Marian can take just one more timeout the rest of the way. Still have a lot of hill to climb, but better than they were to start the half.
Well, I said at the beginning they had to put a dent in it in the first 5 minutes, and it's a dent. Right now, this next 4 minutes, get down to the 10. They can get it to 10 at the 10-minute mark. It's manageable.
Grace comes in number 2 in the country. And the latest poll was 2 weeks ago. This will change again this coming week. Indiana Wesleyan, number 11. Huntington, number 17. Bethel amongst those getting votes in the NAI national poll. Shot clock at 13. Etchison in the lane, no. I think Foe could have nabbed that pass if he was looking for it. Sikafus back in there for Grace. Again, Malone can make that shot, which is why Foster had to close him out. And a blocking foul called against Gavin Foe.
He just got there a little bit late.
Yeah, still moving.
He was also bailing out before there was any contact.
Correct. And given the size of the truck that was heading his way,
can you blame a guy?
Can
you blame a guy? I don't think you can blame a guy.
Sometimes in life you got to make a business decision. I get that completely.
It's a business decision, no question about it.
Malone will come out.
Got a couple more games to play this year.
That's right. You got at least 4 months of season to think about. Foster back in for Marian. Played some good minutes. He and Ames are kind of a job share at the 5. Gibbs for 3. Cade knocks it down, his second made triple. Reverse layup, no. Scott got a piece of that, but there's Foster hanging around the rim.
Second shots. Marian a little bit more active on the offensive glass this half. And if they're going to get back in it, they're going to have to create those opportunities.
Gibbs in the low block.
Oh, come up with that.
Ball finds him. Then he lost it. And Whitaker slings it towards Etchison. Etchison turned down a 17-footer. So he'll take the 21-footer instead. Foster hustling for it. Couldn't hang on to it. You can live with that if you're Marian.
Well, they'd have just a lot of possessions where it's dribble, dribble, dribble. There's not a lot of ball movement and not a lot of player movement, and those are the things that don't put a ton of pressure on the defense.
Raj back in there for Grace. Nice find. Scott the finish. Ian Scott now in double figures. Third different Grace player to do so. Gizzy from 15. You like that? Gizzy's second field goal. He's asked to take a more aggressive offensive role for this Marian team this year. 3, good by Stoltzfus. His second made triple. All 6 of his shots have come from behind the arc today.
Well, what set that up was the great post up at the basket, and Etchison thought, well, I got to go in and help on that, and left his guy wide open.
And Bryan gets a 3 to go, and that was the first in 13 tries for Marian. Points on triples, 27-3 in favor of Grace. That stat remains the same after that miss by Sikafus. By the way, Bryan came into the game 9 of 17 from three-point range. Etchison fouled.
I like the fact that he stopped, he faked, he put the defender in a bind. Ames is coming back in the game right now. I was looking out there, and I'm like, hey, Foster looks like he's a little gassed, man. We got to get him out of there.
Etchison's shot volume has not changed. I would say the quality of his looks have changed dramatically in the second half. But left that one short.
He hasn't taken those shots that I'm talking about, those ones that really aren't in transition and before you've moved the defense. And that's what's made him a little more efficient this half, I think. That was a great controlled drive. Got himself under control at the end.
He'll now come out as Dylan Moles will replace him. Dylan actually the third leading scorer for the Knights this year at 8.5 points a game. Has done so, averaging about 12 minutes a game so far for Marian. Three, not that time, but off the noggin of Bryan, it did nick the rim, so it's a shot clock reset for Grace.
He was really concentrating on his block out right there and didn't really see the flight of the ball.
Great basket cut by Scott. Knew that Ames was hanging around. That one wide right, but gives Scott more credit. Poked away by Bryan. Ian Scott now 10 points and 3 rebounds in 14 minutes. We said this stat, the Grace, no player had averaged more than 20 minutes a game so far this year as Gizzy rips that away from Raj. Ames lost the handle, but fouled. Good controlled move by Ames. Began his days playing Miami, Ohio. Second year here playing for the Marian Knights.
I like that. They gave him the space to operate. He's got a little bit of a size advantage right there. And he made a good on-balance offensive move. So Grace really didn't have a choice but to foul him.
Misses that. Does Jackson. 7.5 points, 5 rebounds a game. The Ohio native. Both of his points so far have come from the free throw line. Rattles that one home. Marion's got one more run in him that can make it interesting. The bad news is Elijah Malone's about to come back into the game for Grace.
Whoops, forgot about him for a second.
Wadding. Well done.
That could have been like 1950s Celtic. You know, that looked like Tommy Heinsohn on that move.
You're going to give Frank Ramsey the assist on
Should
that one
anyone,
for the Celtics?
Should anyone, you know, Satch Sanders, somebody. Should anyone have any idea who those guys are?
I do. 62-46.
Right. You don't count because you know everything.
Sometimes just let it sit there and let's go to break. Back after this on the ISC Sports Network. Back inside the PE Center. Next time our cameras will be here will be on Tuesday, December the 5th, when the Marian women take on the University of the Cumberlands. Both those teams ranked in the top 15 of the NAI national polls. Jan Bozier joins me for that one here on ISC. 62-46 the score. 16-point lead for Grace. Again, Marian has played better in half number 2, but unable to make a substantial dent, to use your word, in this 20-point plus first half Grace lead.
They've just got to be a little bit more efficient and cash in on the opportunities that they're having, and you got to make sure that Grace is one and done, right? Just giving up a few too many second chance points down there, second opportunities, and a lot of times those end up as threes.
One of the few bits of bad news for Grace is that the foul they just committed was their 17th foul. So Marian is in the bonus with 9:37 left to play in the game. As a team, Marian 11 of 15 from the line today, and Brian left that short. So Graber back in there as well. It's not been the best of offensive days for Bryson. He's 0 of 5 from the floor. Does have his usual 5 assists. Wadding got hit on the wrist on the shot. That's against Etchison, and he'll shoot 2.
I don't know about that one.
So Wadding, 1 of 2 from the line today. 10 of 14 before that on the season. Let's see what the ball has to say. He was not hit on the wrist.
Apparently not.
Henderson will check back in for Marian. No points in 5 minutes played. Whitaker.
The basketball gods are going to let you know.
Makes that one. Marian, 21 points in 11 minutes of half number 2 after having just 25 in the opening stanza. 3 in the corner is good for Bryant. Knights need that. Their second made 3. He's got both of them.
Nice little set right there by Marian. That was a prescribed play to get Bryant that 3.
Malone 3, no. And Hutchison snares that one. So a basket here makes it 11 or 12. Etchison Good look that wouldn't go. You take that every time down.
He got all the way there.
Scott fouled and one. They're going to say no, wave off the shot on the floor.
Wow, I don't know.
They overruled it. Right, it's right call. They overruled it. Because basically he tapped it up and in. There was no such thing as possession.
I don't know how you could not give him the bucket right
that's
there.
against the home team, but that's absolutely the right whistle. He was fouled, putting the ball up and in, and one opportunity. Good job to work together by our crew on that one. And Scott connects.
He's been really good for them today off the bench.
He'd start for, about any other NAIA team in the country. Henderson three, got it. The freshman knocks it down. Henderson, 5 of 13 from three heading into today's game. Averaging 4.5 points a game. Great find by Waddick.
Whoa.
And cashed home by Sefton.
That was some kind of pass out of the post right there.
So Sefton, 7 of 10 from three-point range entering today's game. A 30-second timeout. And as we look at the Grace huddle, I want to pass along a couple of thoughts about some extended members of the Grace family. Young man named Hagen Knepp that played with Bryson Graber at Bar Reeve was attending Grace College to play basketball last year. And unfortunately, began a different type of journey going through a fight with abdominal cancer. And he has battled it for the last year plus. I know he is still going through that fight. We want to make sure that we pass along our best to his family down in the Montgomery area in Davies County, with the extended Grace community as well. I also want to pass this along to you as well. We have not called his name yet today. But the young man on this Grace roster named Marcus Davidson, older brother Frankie, graduated after last year at Grace. I think most of you know their father, Mark, was the head coach at Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian. Lost his battle with cancer about a year or so ago at this point. There is actually a new book that Blake Sebring has written about Mark's story, offensive foul against Marian. So if you're looking for a great stocking stuffer this holiday season, I couldn't encourage you more to pick up a copy of the book, Brave at Heart, a Christian coach's journey through life and cancer, and learn more about a great man in the late Mark Davidson, the longtime head coach at Blackhawk Christian.
Tremendous story, very inspiring guy.
69-52, Grace the ball in a 17-point lead. Good slip. Malone powers his way through.
That was Ames's third handoff foul, illegal screen in the on that last possession.
Etchison with the big on him, goes right at Malone and scores. Etchison now at 15.
He really got off his feet that time to get there.
Graber leaves it for Scott. Poked away a couple of different times. And Marian has not gone away. They've not quit battling, but there's still a steep hill to climb. And Whitaker lost it. Foul. Not sure if it's going to be on Henderson or Whitaker. It'll be Henderson. And that'll be 1 plus the bonus coming up for Ian, Scott, and Grace.
Well, they're still within striking distance, but not like that. Can't foul a guy who's not in danger of hurting you and put him on the free throw line.
Looking ahead for Grace. A night they circle on their calendar as soon as the schedule came out. They host Indiana Wesleyan Tuesday night. And folks, if you don't have anything better to do on the northern half of the state on Tuesday night, go to the Manhattan Orthopedic Capital Center. That is a wonderful small college arena that Grace has on their campus. That game will be worth your time, believe me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like they're looking ahead.
No.
They are focused on the task at hand here this afternoon, and I've been very impressed with Coach Moore's ball club today.
By the way, this will not be the last game that Grace is going to play in Indianapolis this year. They're going to play a game at Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December the 30th. They're playing against Alice Lloyd of Kentucky as Whitaker gets that bucket to go. 16-point game. Whitaker's got 19, which is the game high. Malone's had just 2 points for Grace in the second half. Frankly, he has not been needed to be as dominant as he was in half number one. Scott. Good way to avoid a 3-second call is by taking a shot.
Shoot it.
Atchison goes 94 feet. Malone was waiting to pounce. Numbers for Grace. Foul on Whitaker. On Whitaker, his second.
I think he was in a little bad shape right there. You got to make him make that one. Reaching in and grabbing him is not the answer.
Well, Scott's free throw effort is good. Cade Gibbs returns for Grace. Scott now with 15 points.
Yeah, he's been super efficient today.
And misses that one. Henderson got that one. Good confidence offensively from the freshman. .14 is as close as Marian's gotten. And a foul on Henderson.
I'll tell you what, it's very rare that you've seen a Grace possession today that wasn't in transition where the ball didn't hit three sides of the floor.
Absolutely.
And that's actually something we used to chart. And the efficiency just goes up exponentially on that third side of the floor because you've really moved the defense and put guys in closeout situations and really made it hard. That's something I'd like to see as the season goes on. The Knights do a little bit better job of that.
Scott missed the line.
Because they do have drivers and guys that can ring the bell a little bit.
Atchison leaves for Foster. He'll finish. For Foster, that's his third bucket around the rim today. At 13, still a glimmer of hope. Graver fouled. Grace is just 11 of 18 from the line. They have left the door open ever so slightly here with 5:10 left to play.
Tell you what, he sold that call a little bit. I'm not sure that that ball didn't just go off his own leg by his own design.
All good point guards do that. As Graber connects from the line. I had the pleasure to see a bunch of his games at Bar Reeve. Think back to the kind of the year after COVID. That was the rarest of years where you could have frankly put the 4 state champs together after the state tournament and said, okay, you guys go play a tournament. It's the one time in the class era where I felt that was legitimately the case. Bar Reeve in 1A, Blackhawk Christian 2A, Silver Creek in 3, and Carmel in 4. Whitaker, and it's now down to 12. Marian just kind of keeps whittling away at this lead, albeit with 4:50 left to play. Gibbs, no, great rebound. Great rebound. But scrap for the loose ball. Foe's got it. Think jump ball is the call. And the arrow will keep it here. And that'll also lead to our final media timeout. So Marian doing their best, Teddy KGB. They're hanging around. 12-point game with 4:35 left to play. Back for said final stanza when we come back on ISC. Today's game on the ISC Sports Network, presented in part by First On Site, formerly More Restoration. They're here to help you power through whatever comes your way. From fire and flood to catastrophic storms or biohazards, they have the team, technology, and resources to help you restore, rebuild, and rise. Go Knights. As always, thanks to Mitch Huppert, the Director of Sports Information here at Marian University, for his hard work and having us here this afternoon. Next time we'll see Coach Hetty's team will be on December the 30th when Rio Grande is here. A frequent NAIA postseason foe for both the Marian men and women. .12 game. Marian has clawed their way back from a 20-plus point deficit, at least to get to where it's competitive in the final 4:35. If you're Grace, how could you possibly land the knockout blow?
Well, they got to keep doing what they're doing. I think that right here in these next 5 possessions, Marian's got to get stops in all of them.
Gibbs, no.
There's one.
And simply put, Grace is just missing some shots they've been making most of the day. It's not to shortchange the effort that Marian's been making. But Grace is leaving the door open just a bit. Right idea and a foul.
Good cut. And there's nothing better than scoring when the clock is stopped when you're down like this.
So Gizzy, who is 2 of 2 from the line, will shoot 1 plus the bonus, and Grace will bring back their top post players in Wadding and Malone. As Graber and Scott will have a seat. Gizzy connects on that. Max with 7 points in total today. Make it 8. And the lead is 10 for the first time in some time. Trying to isolate Malone. Shot clock at 13. 3 from the top of the key. No. Foster could hang on to it. Gibbs scores it. Cade Gibbs, the bucket.
That was a tough one.
It's a backbreaker.
Had 2 hands on it, just couldn't secure it.
Etchison in the lane, yes. He's got 17 after a bit of a sluggish first half start. That should be Marian ball. Yes, the inside was asking for help. That's the right call. That was off Malone.
Went right off his face. Wasn't quite ready for it, I don't think.
It has been very much a limited turnover game. 8 for Grace, 6 for Marian. So a chance to make it a single-digit deficit. I think the last time that was the case, it was 19-10 in favor of Grace.
And Marian's also crept up in the rebounding margin a little bit too.
Etchison from 16. Good crash by Ames. Good rebound by Henderson. Whitaker got fouled.
Great play by Gizzy right there. Drove it, drew the defense. Good 45-degree angle cut by Whitaker. And he's going to get fouled. He is very physical at the end of his drives.
Whitaker 5 of 7 from the line today. But missed that one.
Oof.
And there is no margin for error in terms of potentially missing those. Connects on that one. So 9-point game with 3 to play. Now Marian will pick up full court. Stoltzfus in for the starting point guard, Graber. Gibbs, tough take. Gizzy, the blocking foul.
Good chance his heels were on the restricted arc right there.
Yeah.
We'll find out here in the replay.
For Gizzy, it's his fourth foul.
They weren't, but his feet weren't down either. He wasn't set. So pretty good call.
Jacob Gibbs, 2 for 2 from the line today, make it 3 for 3. Scott will return. Wadding will have a seat. Ten have played today for Grace. Gibbs makes them both. 14 for 22 as a squad for Grace from the line today. Etchison weaves, scores on Malone.
He's done a great job when he gets to the rim of protecting the ball and putting his body on the defender and finding ways to finish.
Cries for a moving screen, but Malone was set. He just, again,
it's just a hard screen.
It's about a 100-pound difference, those two guys on that screen. Malone going to work, blocked by Ames. Again, Malone only has one bucket this half. 9-point game, 2 to play. Doesn't have to be 3, but it has to be points. Ames left alone, and that's not his game, that jump shot. Whitaker contested, doesn't matter. Still a 3-possession game with 100 ticks of the clock left to go. But Marian has erased 14 points off a halftime deficit. Gibbs, no, left it short. Much more than a pulse at this point for Marian. Etchison poked away by Stoltzfus. And again, the next to last timeout was taken by Scott Heddy about 14 minutes of game action ago. He has done this without many whistles. Bryan will come back in for Henderson. Marian has made all of 3 threes today. Bryan has made 2, Henderson the other. Shot clock at 15. Bryan turns it down, takes the elbow jumper. Good call. 5-point game with 60 seconds left to go. Almost a travel, almost. And a timeout before that contact. Timeout taken by Grace.
Well, they run that little out of bounds play where Bryan had the choice of coming off a staggered baseline screen or the down screen, and he picked the down screen and was able to make a good offensive move for the score.
Marian University Athletics decided to launch their new strategic fundraising campaign to enhance the student-athlete experience across campus. Because of the generosity of several Marian donors, all new gifts or pledges between September 1st through April 2024 to athletic scholarship funds and the Facility Enhancement Fund will be matched up to $1 million. To make your gift to support these efforts, please visit marian.edu/journey to 2030. Additional information can be found on munites.com. Can you play this out if you're Marian? Do you trap? Do you foul? How do you handle this?
I think this possession you try to play out. If it's me. It's not me. I'm sitting up here with you. But I think you try to play this possession out and get a score on the other end and then start playing the foul game.
Malone again. That was close.
Because if you give up 2 here, you're probably done.
Gibbs fouled. Heads up play by Gibbs.
And that's the worst case scenario, which is foul him at the end of the possession.
For Whitaker, his third foul. Gibbs is 4 of 4 from the line. He'll shoot 2. Connects here. 2-score game. Malone will come out. They'll go a little smaller and quicker. They'll pull Malone. A little offense, defense, likely the rest of the way for Grace. And Gibbs connects again. So back to a 3-score game with 38 ticks of the clock left to play. Etchison attacks the rim and scores. Marian won't take their timeout just yet. But Etchison is down behind the play. Marian fouls, and I hope for Gus it's nothing more than a cramp. He's grabbing his left calf. And obviously you worry, if it's something lower than that calf, you worry about it being more significant.
Yeah, I think it's a cramp.
Given the effort he's put forth today. 21 points. The majority of those from halftime on. So Marian did not take a timeout there, which means teams will not be allowed to huddle up. But it also means that your chief instigator on offense is on the sideline. And it's 2 free throws in both directions now.
Yeah, he's probably the guy who has the best chance of scoring quick, which is what you got to do in this situation. But they're just stretching him out, so it looks like a cramp.
Bananas stacked to the Marian sideline.
Maybe they can work a quick miracle and throw him back in there.
Marian plays at Spring Arbor on Tuesday before the Thanksgiving break. 82-75. Whitaker. Nope. Rebound Gibbs, and that's probably about it. Gibbs is fouled. Bryan's not happy about a whistle there. But now a chance for Grace to extend this lead with just 17 seconds left to play. Jacob, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. But this is Cade that will shoot 2 for the first time today. Cade on the season, 75% from the stripe. And misses. Etchison returns. Henderson will stay on. Or not.
Well, those two dudes, the Gibbs brothers, they give you a lot of flexibility on the defensive end because they can guard guards, they can guard bigger guys, they both rebound the ball.
Tapped out by Wadding, so even though he missed 2, possession continues for Grace. And now a double technical has been given. 1 to Bryan, and I'm not sure if it was Wadding or Gibbs that got the technical, but a double technical just handed out. So the foul called against Etchison. And then double technicals. Wadding for Grace. And Bryan for Marian. And you don't shoot the double, so it just adds the personal foul total. We quickly move on. Stoltzfus makes the first.
That's the knock it off technical.
Yep. Offsetting penalties.
Cut it out.
Although another technical would be an ejection, but yes.
Right. They'd have to get busy here with 15 seconds to go.
It's happened. Bryan, 3, no. And Gibbs is fouled, and he'll shoot free throws, but that'll largely be it for this one. So Grace looks in their record to 7-0. Marian loses for the first time this season. But again, it's almost kind of like the women's game where it's like, all right, now you kind of know, hey, you can hang with the other best team in the league, It's kind of in reverse. It was the Grace women, it's the Marian men. You're not happy about a loss, but you kind of frankly have a better idea as to where you stand now in terms of league play, and you're not that far off.
Well, you go in and you look at the film and you go, okay, this was pretty good. This was not so good. We got to eliminate the not so good, and you got to play a little closer to perfect when you're playing great teams.
And that's that. So Marian got back within 5, but kind of fitting with the way the game was played. Grace, a double-digit winner today. 86-75. Bill, your final thoughts?
Well, I'm right there with you. I think Grace is everything they're cracked up to be. Extremely talented. They maybe kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, but I think Marian is still a work in progress. You know, I looked at the calendar. It's the middle of November. I mean, we got a long way to go. They still are trying to develop their chemistry and define their roles and those sorts of things, and I look for those guys to continue to get better as the season goes on. Grace
will host Indiana Wesleyan on Tuesday. Marian heads to Spring Arbor. Our next men's basketball game for the Knights will not be until December 30th. They take on the Red Storm of Rio Grande. For Bill Fenlon and our entire ISC Sports Network crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. Goodbye from Marian. Marian and Grace split this doubleheader. Thanks for watching on ISC.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Lock in your rate with pre-approval. It's fast, free, and makes buying the car of your dreams easier. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you.